right, good morning everybody. Matt Moda here with OddsJam, and in this video, locking in some bets for Monday Night Football tonight. So I hopped on the OddsJam positive expected value page, filtered specifically for the NFL. And today, because we do have some early bets posting for the NFL for next week as well, for week 13. So we got bets for Monday Night Football tonight. So let's chat about it. This first one that we are going to lock in here is this Kenny Pickett under 23.5 rushing yards. You can get this at -110 at Bet365 for the best odds, or you can get it at BetMGM at -115 odds as well. Still positive expected value at BetMGM. But regardless, the no vig odds that OddsJam calculates prices this to be at about -117, just below -117, so we can round up there. So the gap between the -117, I guess I should say anything below -117 is going to be mathematically profitable. So that's why the -110 is the best odds, obviously, but -115 is still positive EV as well because it's below -117. But I'm going to stick with the -110 in terms of everything. The EV percent on this one, your expected profit, your percent edge over the sportsbook prices this to be at about 2.85%, 2.86% is the exact number. And this can be viewed as your expected profit margin for this bet. So for every, $100 bet on this play, you would figure to make $2.86. So no, not breaking the bank by any means, but positive expected value betting with OddsJam isn't meant to be a get-rich-quick scheme. It's supposed to be a profitable venture over the course of time. So if you want to look at my dashboard, my bet tracker, this comes from using OddsJam. As you can see, I have 5 out of the last 6 weeks have all been up. Last week, I wasn't able to bet a ton because I've been in Maryland and it wasn't legal in Maryland for until late last week. Still had a profitable day. And as you can see, as my unit sizing changed, I started to have higher and lower swings as sports changed as well. But overall, up over just below 16 grand using OddsJam. And it's been profitable for me, and I've been using it since the beginning of last football season. So it's not about, like I said, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about some sort of side income where you're making money over the course of time. And the way you'll do that is by positive expected value betting. These no vig odds are pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world in terms of pricing odds. So OddsJam back-tested betting opportunities to determine what these sportsbooks are, who do the best job, which sportsbooks do the best job. So these no vig odds, you can view them as the true line of what a market should be priced at, which again, in this case, -117. And then what I like to do before placing a bet is click open a play, as I did here, and it'll pull up where every sportsbook is pricing odds for this play. And as you can see, except for BetMGM, every other sportsbook has this as the significantly favored outcome. So we see like Pinnacle, Tipico, DraftKings, and Caesars all heavily favoring it going over. And Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, so you care a lot about what they say. DraftKings does a really good job specifically with player props, so you care a lot about what they say. They both heavily favor it going under, whereas we're only getting -110 at Bet365 or -115 at BetMGM. And then if you open this event page in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook is pricing odds for this play. And as you can see here, and I'll zoom out a little bit just so you can see everything. As you can see here, every other book that prices it below this 23.5 number. So we see like 22.5, we see Betfred, we see WinBet, and then we see 2 daily fantasy sites, or I guess one. We see Underdog Fantasy price it at 22.5. And we see this priced at 21.5 by BetRivers and BetOnline. And this part's really important. This is BetOnline right here. And this part's really important. BetOnline heavily favors it going under 21.5, which is a full 2 yards lower than what we got it at. They have the under 21.5 priced at -120. And we got the under 23.5 at better odds at -110 or -115. So that's kind of the reason why you open event pages in a new tab, because you want to see where every other sportsbook not only prices odds specifically for the bet that you are placing, but you want to see odds for the entire market. And it's just ridiculous the value that we are getting at the under 23.5 compared to what you see here. Sportsbooks having it at minus 120. So BetOnline is the third sportsbook that we like to look at specifically for player props. So it's Pinnacle and DraftKings and then BetOnline. So if those three are in alignment on what a player prop should be priced at, and the bet that you're placing is an outlier to those three, it's probably something that will make you money in the long run. Now, of course, you're not going to win every bet, especially for player props have a little bit of a higher variance than normal bets. So you kind of have to accept some variance. Like if you go back and you look at my bet tracker, when I first started using OddsJam, I had a ton of success, pretty much all up weeks. Then I had some down weeks, but still some really high weeks. And then like during baseball season, just horrible luck during baseball season. Lost 5 out of 6 weeks, was down. Some weeks down a lot. But as you can see, it kind of evened out over time. And I've been on a really, really good streak over the past 6 weeks or so. So understand that variance happens in sports betting. You will have unprofitable days, unfortunately, and it'll be very frustrating. But over time, you will get over it and you will be profitable. So this is the first one regardless, this Kenny Pickett under 23.5 rushing yards. I would recommend putting a full unit on this one, $100. Whether you get it on Bet365 or BetMGM, I think this one is worth $100. So that is the first play that I'm going to lock in. The second one, excuse me, here is the over 7 first quarter total points. So basically someone gets a touchdown, either goes for 2 and gets it, or another team gets a field goal, but only 10 points, 10 points in the first quarter of this game. Minus 106 odds at Circa is a pretty good price compared to where you look at the rest of the sports books. The closest is Betfred at minus 115, but they're still closer to where every other book prices it. So this minus 106 is a true and clear outlier compared to the rest of the betting markets. We see minus 119, minus 130, minus 120, minus 120, minus 122, minus 115, minus 125. And if you open this event page in a new tab, we can see that looks like so it looks like other sports books price it at 7.5, but they heavily juice it towards going under. So not really anything to glean from there, but still a really, really good price getting this first quarter to go over 7 points at minus 106. And if a touchdown is scored and that's it, just 7 points, we'll at least break even and get our money back. The OddsJam Novig odds price this at about minus 111. We can get it at minus 106. So again, pretty awesome gap between those two. All in all, equates to a profit margin of 2.36%. And I would recommend putting a full unit on this one as well. 1 unit on this first quarter over 7. So that's my second play for today. And my third and final one is just on the point spread. Main line, we are looking at the Steelers to cover 2.5 in this one. Plus 105 odds at Caesars Sportsbook at Caesars. And look across the board where every sportsbook prices it. So we have Pinnacle at plus 103, and then Caesars at plus 105, every other book. And so for main lines, we like to look at BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle as the 3. Now, Pinnacle obviously has this closer to Caesars, but Bookmaker and BetOnline, minus 110, minus 107, as well as every other book, minus 104, minus 105, minus 108, minus 106, minus 103, minus 110. And then a couple minus 105s, a couple minus 110s. So there are only 2 books that have this for plus money. Every other book has it for at least minus 105. Some of them have it for minus 110. And we're getting it on Caesars at plus 105. So this is another good play. I'd recommend just a half unit on this one. Not a huge percent in terms of EV, 0.14%. But what I will say is that for main line bets, money line, point spread, total, those markets see so much action that the markets themselves are going to be tighter, which means that the edge you can find is more valuable. So in this case, like market width is a good way to kind of measure that. The lower this number, market width, the more confident a sportsbook is in their lines. That also means more action a betting market has gotten. And as you can see, all the way down at 11. 15 is really good. 34 is good for a player prop. But this one all the way down at 11 shows you that this is a pretty tight market. So this will be my third and final bet for tonight. Steelers plus 2.5 on Caesars Sportsbook. And that's going to be it. So if you guys are tailing these bets, comment and let me know. Love to hear it. But that's all I got. So I do appreciate you guys watching and enjoy the game tonight.